Time to Shine Today, episode 15, Take a Sabbatical Without the Guilt. This is Scott Ferguson. Let's level up. Hey, Time to Shine squad and Fergie fanatics. How are you today? It's a fantabulous day here in South Florida. About 80 degrees, no cloud in the sky. Just got back from the beach, walking my little guy Stitch, and was really just looking at times of reflection today. And I do this once a week to basically put together my recap to all of you out there that listen into my blog over at timetoshinetoday.com. But one thing that really came to me today is I needed that time to de-stress, to unwind, and to re-energize. And that's what I want to put out to you today, that it is super important to reset and recharge. Take a sabbatical at least once a week, and you will be able to do this. What I see a lot with my students, with my colleagues, is they grind. I mean, grit is a monotonous activity. It's something that we do every single day. When I put this podcast out to you, it's the exact same steps. When I write a blog, exact same steps. In my real estate side of things, exact same steps. I'm doing the same thing to prospect, for clients. And with Time to Shine, I'm always, pushing forward to get all you guys and gals content that is going to help you level up your life. And sometimes I'll sit back and go, oh man, I just don't know what to think about. And today when I was walking my dog, I was able to think about when this is what I needed. I needed this stress relief. I needed to unwind. I needed to re-energize. So then I started digging in a little bit with Sharma, who I mentioned him all the time. And in his book, Who Will Cry When You Die, he has a little excerpt, a little chapter about taking a sabbatical. And I think that that's really stuck in my subconscious mind after reading it, of why I actually take a little bit of time off, at least once or twice weekly. Okay, stress is a good thing. It comes with what we do as we level up our life. And his quote that I'm going to read you real quick, bear with me, write this down, internalize it, mark this as an area in the podcast that you come back to. But stress itself is not a bad thing. It can often help us perform at our best, beyond our limits, and achieve things that would otherwise astonish us. The real problem lies in the fact, in this age of global anxiety, we do not get enough relief from stress. And if you don't get enough relief, you will grow stale. You'll grow tired. And then sometimes a lot of people will just stop. They were progressing, and then they just stop. And what they do is they look back and they say, wow, man, I should have just kept going. But they don't remember how stressed they were, how ground down they were. If they would have just remembered when they started to feel that way, take a little bit of time off. Okay, your mind is a muscle. It can only take so much resistance. You have to take a step back and reflect and then come back to it. Okay? You must do this. There's no way around it. A lot of people will feel guilty about taking time off. Trust me, you'll come back better. I lived in the bodybuilding world and I would be like, I gotta lift, and gotta keep better. But my coach would be like, Fergie, take 5 days off. Don't touch a weight. Don't do anything. I'll be like, man, my muscles are gonna atrophy. Nothing's gonna go right with this. And bigger than you know what, I came back stronger, better, muscles fuller. Everything was great. It was because of that rest that I gave my body, gave my mind. That's what it all goes back to. Okay? Let's talk about your sabbatical, your rest, your time off. It can be as little as just a couple hours. It could be sitting by yourself, journaling, reading, just letting your mind just zero out. My lady has Fridays off, so I generally take every Friday off. Okay, being in the real estate business also, I'm working the weekends. So that Friday off is a beautiful thing. And we do things like go to the beach. I mean, that's why we live in South Florida. We live, 1.8 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, and we love it. Okay? We also love to watch movies. So we might go up to the cinema or Cinepolis here in Jupiter, Florida, and catch a movie. Of course, with popcorn. When I de-stress, I also enjoy myself a little bit. We have a couple favorite shows that we have on Hulu or Netflix that we'll come back to. And also a little bit of cuddle and reconnection time as well. But I use Fridays as kind of my de-stress day. And I've kind of built my business up to where I can take that day off. But I also alert everybody ahead of time that, hey, I'm taking Friday off, and I have people covering what I need to have covered. I don't blog, I don't podcast, I don't do anything. So I need you to find something that you enjoy. I have a client that he loves like RC racing, car racing, and he's a writer, and he was coming to a time of just writer's block. And I'm like, man, go race your car. He's like, man, I ain't got time for that. I got to get this on paper. I'm like, it's not going to go on paper. He went to his little track, raced his car, and the next thing you know, he's coming back, and he's just throwing up onto paper. I mean, he's like, Scott, I just didn't stop writing, and it came out. And he went back, edited it, got it out into a blog post. I don't know, and he had like 9,000 reads. It was crazy. And people are saying, man, this is the best advice that I've gotten in a long time. And, he came back and said, Fergie, thank you. I'm like, bro, trust me, I was taught that myself. It's nothing that I came up with. I was taught that 100% on my own. So please, 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 Fergie Fanatics, Time to Shine squad, let's make sure we take time for a weekly sabbatical. It's kind of like a cheat meal for all you out there that are New Year's dieting right now. But just like a cheat meal, keep it compartmentalized. Keep that day off or that de-stressing time to what it's used for. Don't say, well, okay, I took this day off, I feel better, I'm just going to keep taking days off. You can't do that either. This is a time that you take that is going to help you level up and measure up in the long run. Okay? So that's just what I want you to do. I want you to make sure you schedule time for sabbaticals and internalize that time. Don't think about anything. Just let your mind drift. Okay, when I say internalize, like internalize your time alone, internalize your time with your loved ones, internalize your time journaling, whatever you're going to do. Okay, so I want you to crush your day. I want you to, if you have any questions, reach out to me at sf@timetoshinetoday.com, and I would be happy to answer the questions or share with us in our Facebook group, which the resource is below. Share with us how you de-stress. Share with us how you recharge. I would love to hear, because I might pick up a step from you and implement it into my routine to help me level up. Okay, awesome. Fergie Fanatics, Time to Shine squad. Thank you so much for listening. I want you to fire up. I want you to level up your life. I want to level up your health, level up your wealth, because it's your time to shine. Ciao now. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope you will help support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, level up. It's your time to shine.